If it goes west, then that means I might go to wherever the flip that area is. I'm assuming that if I am going north and heading to that one village there,
Mm-hmm.
like right to the kind of left of the main area, that west would probably be that house in the middle of the mountains.
Right. This one right here.
Um, though I don't know if it actually curves anywhere else.
Or
Like if
goes
it
that far. I
loops.
mean, that does seem pretty far for a sewer
Yeah.
system to run.
Then I think I'm going to keep pressing north.
All right.
Because at least I have some sort of plan if I'm going north.
You press on for about a mile until you can go no further. A huge iron grating blocks the tunnel. The decomposing carcass of a giant lizard has been washed up against the bars. Bones are clearly visible where the dead flesh has rotted or been eaten away. The bars are firmly fixed. It will be impossible to continue this direction. Close to the dead lizard, a narrow stone platform juts out from the wall. Beyond the platform, you notice a low arch leading to some stairs ascending out of the sewer. The sound of Maruk's voice drifts along the tunnel. He is urging his Sharnazarm in your direction. Do you wish to climb the steps or wait for your pursuers?
Let's go to the steps.
All right. You reach a small chamber set above the tunnel. Here, at least, it is dry, although the foul sewer gas permeates everything. You hurry along a narrow passage, which turns first to the west and then to the south, but your heart sinks as you see a dead end looming in the inky blackness. Do you wish to search for a hidden exit or prepare yourself for combat?
This kind of stinks.
Yep.
Let's be a bit hopeful and look for a hidden exit.
All right. You hack the dirt-encrusted floor and uncover a large metal ring, which proves to be part of an old trapdoor. The metal ring is badly corroded, but you manage to prise the trapdoor open. It covers a deep shaft. From the inky blackness comes the stench of the sewer. The Sharnazim are climbing up the stone steps. Their pounding footsteps match your racing heartbeat. Jump down the shaft or fight?
Just jump down the shaft.
You know, it doesn't seem that unlikely, because who would build an archway to nowhere?
That's what I was thinking. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a dead end. Why is this here?
Yeah, BS. This is not a dead end. What do you think this is? Kingdom Hearts? Alright. You fall face first into putrid water. The oily slime fills your ears and nose and chokes in your throat. Ugh. You surface and struggle into the narrow walkway, only to find that your arm no longer functions. Your wounded shoulder, injured by the falling trapdoor girdle, still stings painfully, but now your whole arm below it is numb and useless. Horror overcomes you as you realize what is wrong.
Seriously?
You recognize the symptoms of limb death. The wound has become infected by thousands of limb death microbes, one of the many strains of deadly bacteria to be found in the Bagadors. None of your Kai skills can prevent the eventual loss of your arm. There is only one cure for the disease. The infected wound must be treated with the herb Odi within 24 hours. Unless you find some Odi by mid-afternoon tomorrow, your arm will become gangrenous. You will then have to choose between losing your arm or losing your life. This dreadful realization renews your determination to escape from this terrible place, but for you can be sure one thing: you will find no Odi in the Bagadors. So, limb death, -3 to combat skill, no shield.
Ugh.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep. So that was fun.
Man.
You need your
Well, that
numb.
means if anybody follows me, they're gonna have the same thing.
You need your numb arm, because that'll work, in an effort to massage some life back into it, because massaging arms works against bacteria. But it is useless. The muscles are limp and nerveless. The only consolation is that it is not your weapon arm. But as long as you are suffering from this disease, you cannot use a shield of any sort. Deduct 3 points from your combat skill. The lost points will be recovered if you ever should regain use of your arm.
God. Yay!
You turn your attention to your surroundings in an effort to find some way of escape from the nightmare sewer. The passage ahead winds and curves like a giant snake, and the foul air drifts towards you as hot and humid. You have shaken off your pursuers, but now you have the problem of your arm to solve.
Yay!
The temperature rises steadily until you are bathed in sweat. Ahead, you see a chamber filled with steam that rises from its bubbling floor. You are about to enter the chamber when you catch a glimpse of the danger awaiting you. The stone walkway ends abruptly, only a few yards into the chamber. 10 feet below, lying before you like the surface of a huge bubbling cauldron, is a tar sorka, a mud geyser. These geysers are common in Vasagonia. Much of the desert empire is unstable, but although it is subject to constant earth tremors, it rarely results in great destruction. The Vasagonians call these tremors Tasa Dopim, which means the wrestling gods. I guess that's a F sound, so Dofim. Tasa Dofim. This particular mud geyser has been put to practical use. It provides a constant source of heat for the dwellings built over the chamber. The steam from the Tara Sorkesh rises in a pair of huge circular chimneys in the dome ceiling, which in turn feed heat to the buildings above. Your only way out of the chamber is by climbing these chimneys. Although there are no ladders, the rock-hewn chamber walls offer many footholds. You're going to climb the left chimney or the right chimney?
Alright, is there any description on either of the chimneys, or
Nope.
just all right? Let's pick
Column A or column B?
let's pick the.
Remember, you don't like doors.
Don't, but there's no description of either one, so I can't choose between artificial.
Right. But you don't like doors.
No, I don't.
Let that be your guide. I honestly have no idea what I'm talking about, but let that be your guide.
If I was looking at a door, the handle would be on its left, so let's go right.
Brilliant! The climb would be easy if it were not for the scalding steam. It stings your face and hands. Hands? Both of them? I thought you couldn't feel out of one of them.
Yep.
I assume my other hand is stinging. The skin puffed and sore. Lose 1 endurance point. Pick a number on the random number table. If you have lost the use of one arm, deduct 3 points from the number you have picked. If you possess the Kai discipline of hunting, add 2 points. So you only get to deduct 1 point. That's good.
Yeah.
Don't get 0. Oh, you got 8. Nicely done.
Ooh. I'd be like, bitch, whatever.
You reached the point where the chimney is no longer a vertical shaft, but curves into a horizontal tunnel leading south. Although the heat is oppressive, the steam is cleared. Every nerve and tissue in your body seems agonizingly sensitive as you progress along the narrow shaft with difficulty. All hope of signing a peace treaty with the New Zakan has vanished. Your only concern now is escape from this hellish sewer and somehow get back to Summerland as quickly as possible. You notice a square vent over the square vent cover in the ceiling less than 10 feet ahead. It is badly corroded, and you have to lie on your back and kick it with both feet to force it open. The effort drains the last of your reserves of stamina, but you are rewarded with success. By pure chance, you have gained access to the one place in Barakish you most needed to visit: the public baths.
Yay!
You enter a large visible vestibule constructed from blocks of pink and white marble. A man in a white robe sits near the door in the far wall. He is reading a scroll held close to his face. He has not seen you enter at the baths, but he is quick to sense your presence. I wonder why. By the Majan, he cries. You smell worse than a baknar. He hurls a towel at you and points to the door. Take my advice, he whines, his fingers pinching shut his nostrils. Don't get undressed. Your clothes need the bath as much as you.
Yep.
You grit your teeth in anticipation for the moment he sees that you are not Vasagonian, but he simply returns to his scroll, holding the parchment close to his short-sighted eyes. You smile as you realize that the man cannot see you clearly enough to know you are a foreigner. Beyond the door, there is a long hall leading at regular intervals into a smaller open chambers, each with a sunken bath. Perfumed water constantly splashes into the baths and drains away directly into the bague d'eau. You decide to take a bath attendant's advice and jump straight into the cool water, keeping all your clothes on. You notice a large earthenware jar stands beneath the bath, full to the brim with translucent purple oil. You have the Kai discipline of healing.
Most likely to rub on my skin.
The oil is made from the fruit of the lamura tree. It has a soothing and relaxing effect when rubbed in the skin. It's funny, if you don't have healing, yeah, it's like, do you want to drink it?
No.
Who goes to a bath and is like, this is probably good for drinking? You want to rub it on your skin?
Yeah. Since my skin seems to be on fire.
You feel your muscles start to relax. The oil soothes and cuts at bruises which cover your body. Restore 2 endurance points.
Oh boy.
You are already at full endurance. And make adjustments on your action chart. Having washed off the worst of the dirt, you clamber out of the bath and enter a small antechamber. The room is hot and arid, and your clothes are soon as dry as a bone. Beyond the antechamber is another hall, this time crowded with people, some seated, others standing, everyone busy in conversation. These are the free baths of Barakesh, and the citizens of the capital are justly proud of them. They are the envy of the other desert cities where water is scarce and precious. The citizens treat the baths as a forum, a place for meeting and talking with friends. Much of the conversation you overhear is about the Nusa Khan. Few speak well of him. You wrap yourself in a large towel and make your way through the crowded towards the main entrance. If you wish to keep the towel once you are outside, you must mark it on the action chart as 2 backpack items due to its size. Bum, bum, bum.
I'm gonna say no.
It's probably a wise choice. You know, if this was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But it's not. Hurrying down the steps and away from the bath hall, you enter the Saldil Tas Uda, the Square of the Dead. Jet black flagstones cover the square, each with a long iron spike set deep into its center. From the bath hall steps, the square resembles the back of a massive iron porcupine. But when you reach the base of the steps, you realize that the Sadi Tas Uda is in fact far more sinister. Stuck on the top of each spike is a human skull, all that remains of pirates, murderers, traitors, thieves, and people who like Justin Bieber.
I'm just looking at the picture right now. That's a head, not a skull.
You Semantics, my friend. Semantics.
There's skulls everywhere. No, that's a severed head. There's a distinct difference. See, skull is like the bone. The severed head is everything.
It's not
else
lying. There are skulls up there.
You wouldn't be able to see them.
As you reach the far side of the square, you brush against a spike. Fresh blood smears across the arm of your tunic, staining it dark red. You raise your eyes, cursing your misfortune, but are shocked into silence by the sight before you. Impaled upon the sharp iron pole is the head of the Vasagonian envoy, still whimpering. This really hurts. No, to either side of the heads are the heads of all the galley crew. On each of their foreheads is freshly branded one word: traitor. Fear wells up inside you, turning your face away from the sightless eye as you run into the crowded streets of the Mikarum, the district where the spice and herb merchants live. Congratulations, you got everyone on the ship killed.
Yay!
At the end of the narrow, winding street, you reach a junction. Opposite is a shop with bright red sign above the door. Bear Daramonson, herb mistress. If you need Odie herb, which you do.
I don't need it.
I don't need
my arm back and forth walking down the street.
I'm fine. You part the curtain of beads hanging in the doorway and enter the cool interior. The lifeless arm that hangs limply at your side has taken a bluish hue, like Superman. Fear returns. You must find the Odie herb to cure the disease. If you will, or you will lose the whole limb and possibly your life. A woman appears from the shadows of the counter. She has piercing green eyes, and her red hair is raised, bound round with rings of jaden. "Welcome, Northlander," she says, in a voice soft and clear. "How may I serve you?" You hesitate before replying, "Odie." She narrows her eyes and casts a glance at your injured arm. "I cannot help you," she says sorrowfully. "Odie is now a very rare and precious herb. You would have to sell my I would have to sell my shop and all my possessions in order to buy just this one small pouch of Odie. There is only one man in Barakish rich enough to possess this herb, the Zakan." Sweat breaks out on your brow as your fear grows. "What little Odie there is," she continues, "is kept in the Grand Palace under lock and key. You ask if there is any other herb that can cure your arm. She shakes her head from side to side. Only Odie will cure limb death, and you can only find that in the strong room of the Imperial Apothecary." She reaches behind the counter and brings forward 3 glass bottles, each containing a colored liquid. "They will not cure you, but they will dull the pain for a few hours. Do you wish to examine the potions, or do you decide to ignore them?"
Dull the pain.
The potions have different abilities.
Alright, let's look at the potions.
Each of the 3 bottles bears a label handwritten in green ink. La Namura oil restores 2 endurance points for 3 gold crowns. Lamb's fur, 4 endurance for 5 gold crowns. Or Rindalim's elixir restores 6 endurance points per dose, 7 gold crowns. You may purchase any of the above. The prices are per dose. All the potions are backpack items. The herb mistress escorts you to the side door. Okay, so basically you can buy as many of them as you can fit into your backpack or have money for or want to buy. You have 1 spot in your backpack.
Let's buy the super special elixir.
Alright, ready? Bam.
Okay. There's still more to that.
Oh, whoops. She leads you to the door and says something forgettable.
I thought she was holding a knife, and I'm like, what is that?
No. Basically, it was like, "I wish you well," and something.
Alright.
So, sorry.
It's okay.
Your desire to leave this treacherous city is overcome by your fear of losing your arm. You must get the Odie herb, even though it means you will have to enter the very place you are most anxious to avoid. The Grand Palace. The alley follows a tortuous route through the Mikarum, finally leading you to the Horam Tas Lalayum, the tomb of the princesses. Beyond the tomb, the Grand Palace rises like a massive white pantheon. You suddenly recall a legend told to you by your Kai masters long ago. The nemesis of the Black Zakan. The Black Zakan was a brutal tyrant, the cruelest of an evil lineage that ruled over the Desert Empire long ago. The barbaric excess of his reign have never been forgotten in the Last Lands. The Grand Palace was built by his army of slaves, prisoners from the countries he had conquered in war. The palace became his obsession. He personally oversaw the entire construction and punished the workers personally if there was the slightest delay. He butchered his subjects indiscriminately and in the most terrible fashion. His favorite form of execution was for the victim to be sawn in half from head to foot until the body fell into 2 pieces. However, it was the mass execution of the slaves who built the Grand Palace that made him infamous. He slaughtered every slave worker so that his enemies could never learn of the secret treasure chambers he had constructed. Among the slaves were his only daughters, Kabila and Sarusi, who openly opposed their father's cruelty and tried to prevent the executions. In a blind rage, he ordered that they should be the first to die. It would have been better for the Zakan and for Vasagonia if he himself had died that day. He lived for another 2 years, but his mind was unhinged by guilt. He was tortured by self-loathing and despair. In the Grand Palace, the silence of the night was frequently broken by the Zakan's moans and cries as he wandered from room to room looking for his daughters. When he died, he was laid beside them here in the tomb of the princesses. From where you stand, you can see the 2 entrances of the Grand Palace, a spike-topped gate in the northern wall, and an arch in the west wall blocked by an iron portcullis. The palace is usually heavily guarded, but there are very few guards today. Most are searching for you in the city. Do you wish to approach the north gate, the west gate, or search for some other way?
I'm a rebel. Let's search for another way.
Yeah! Another way. The outer wall of the Grand Palace is far too high to climb, and even if you had a rope long enough, your green kai cloak would be seen for miles set against the white sun-bleached marble wall. You crouch in the shadow of a doorway while you concentrate on working out a plan. There is a constant traffic of mounted scouts and couriers from the northern gate. Those arriving hand a scroll of parchment to two of the guards before they enter. Slowly, a bold plan begins to take form in your mind.